moving day, and this day had so much promise. It was going to be a beautiful day according to the weather forecast. Now it is, but it's going to be windy. I have to get wood. Okay, we're ready to go, but concerned about one thing. I have unloosened the lines here and down there, but the boat doesn't seem to want to go anywhere. So I wonder, since the flood, has the water level dropped down? And Linda is no, change that. She's on her way. Pushing out with my foot. Yeah, she's going. Silly Canis. Silly Canis. I think I may have PTSD from the flood the last day. Maybe that's what it is. Okay. She's pointing out into the river. Let's go. Oh. She's a little bit beached. Well, let's use power to get out of here. You can hear it. That's Pim's Brook, where all the sewage comes out of. And that is the River Lee. And this is another canal, or the Navigable Lee. Funny, as I was approaching, I was debating as to whether I'd pull in here in case somebody was coming down. I said, "Ah, screw it, it's Tuesday, nobody's coming down." But there is somebody coming down, and they have the right of way because the lock is full, so it's their lock to use. So I'm just going to pull up more up here rather than in there. And he's off. Right, let's get into the lock. Here's my pile of wood, and I'm going to now pick it up and put it out to Linda. A nice big pile of D-grade wood. I'm all done. I have plywood. This is not marine ply, it's cheaper. It doesn't need to be marine ply for going up on the walls and things. And same old wood as we've been using the whole time. But freebies! This box is left here for boaters to just come by and pick up and use. This is quite light, and this will make nice kindling. So I'll grab a bundle of it. I'm not going to be too greedy. I'll grab a bundle of it and that will help me light the fire. Oh my word, what an afternoon. So I lost my keys on the journey. I think I may have left them at the lock. You have to operate the locks at Stonebridge, and that's the last time I would have definitely have used them. Normally I'm quite autopilot and I just put them in my pocket and go, but I may have left them in the machine. If I didn't do that, they fell into the canal, or I have done something really stupid and put them somewhere during the day and completely forgotten about them. However, I have spent the rest of the afternoon, since I've moored here, there's Georgia behind, and here's Linda. I have spent the afternoon getting locks and replacing all the bits and pieces and trying to find spare keys and things like that. So I have locks to be secure, and I have to replace the front door lock on Georgia because I don't seem to have a second key, which is probably a good thing because better just to replace the lock in case, you know, somebody figures it out. But I suspect what will happen is that I'll find the keys after I've done everything. But in the meantime, all of this wood has to now go into Linda. Someone's got wood. Oh yes, here we are changing the locks. Assuming these all match up, pretty much a standard. I mean, of course they match up. Match up absolutely perfectly. Okay, well it's done now. Oh, it works. Oh god, after all that, look. The chuck is the other way around. As in that is the other way around. Obviously you just open the back of it and switch it. Here we are now. Turn it around and put it back in. Done. Does the door close? Well, so much for spring. We're back to winter again. It's freezing. It seems that when the sun's out, it's lovely, but we've got this northerly wind that keeps persisting. Anyway, so let's see. Hoses, more hoses, connectors, wastewater tank, wastewater pump, freshwater pump, macerator pump, tube, this thing. This is the ridiculously over-the-top Baby Blake. I bought this for, I think, £550, second hand. They retail at £5,500 new, but simply because it is so Victorian in style, it's going to fit the boat beautifully. Everything is either porcelain or bronze, so it's bulletproof. However, it needs a service kit, and the service kit is expensive. But let me demonstrate how it works. There's your water pipe going in. This is the water pipe, and here's the pump to pump the water in. All of the washers are leaking, water flows out of every orifice, but it pumps. And then from here, it pumps directly. It's just a lift pump. There we are. I know the toilet works, but there's servicing that's required for the toilet. And we'll get to that later. But in the meantime, I can put in the plumbing, because if I put in the plumbing for the toilet, then I can put in walls once I know exactly where the plumbing is going. So let's have a play with that. I wasn't sure what size to make this, so I just made it the biggest one. So there it is, 2 inch, but it is going to connect up to this, which is 1.5 inch. So to solve that problem, we put in one of these, which is a reducer. And what it does is it reduces from 2 to 1.5 inch. We connect that, which is an elbow joint. We can now connect that to this. This is for ventilation. So that air will eventually go up and up to there. The reason I got this is simply because of its size, because it fits exactly in here, just perfectly. The angle that I cut this at will determine what size it'll allow up. That. Now I just need to cut there. And then that's my pickup. I do need to take a little bit more off that, actually. Seal the deal! Ew. I wonder how that go there. Oh my gosh, look at that. Oh yeah, that's it. We're pumping it in. So I'm using the silicone to make rubber stoppers, which will keep the tank in place and also give a little bit of support so that the tank is not touching directly the steel. Hey gang, it's me, Stilson to the rescue! So I'm changing it from, that's 2 inch reduced down to 1/2 inch or 13 mil, and that is 2 inch reduced down to 1 inch, 25 mil. The reason I'm doing this is going to be the flow direct to the toilet, which has a 1 inch connector. Now I could have brought it down to 1/2 inch and then brought it back up to 1 inch, but then I would have restricted the flow of water. Obviously it wants a 1 inch supply. I can give it a 1 inch supply if I change this component out. And next is a T-joint. I will explain in a second why we have a T-joint. And now the barb. So I've just hooked it up at the back. It is looping under there, coming back down to where I have to cut it to connect into there. It's connected. I'm choosing to use hose. Basically, if it freezes, it'll expand, and all of that water is not under pressure. So the toilet itself will pump its own water directly from the tank by the water coming down here, going up there, going back to the toilet, and all of it will be just under atmospheric pressure, and the pump itself will do the pumping into the toilet. Then that will pump out through the pump out. This side, that will go off to the sink, and under the sink will be the pump. The pump will be under the sink so that it's in the boat, and if it's particularly frosty, I can open up the cupboard to the sink and let hot air in to protect the pump.
I don't know why my pumps froze this year, but they did.
So I'm going to put them together properly and Jubilee clip everything that needs to be Jubilee clipped. And once that's done, I'm going to take away the baby Blake and come up with the arrangement for a stand. So I have concluded that that is a good height for it. Now the question I have, do I make a little metal frame with all my lovely new steel? And looking at it now, I think that would be the sturdiest arrangement. Right, my steel has arrived, but what is it for? Ta-da! And there it is, steel. So I'm leaving it here. It got a bit wet. It rained on while it was being delivered. Does anybody want to guess what these 4 sheets of steel have to do with? What could they possibly before. I wonder, could anybody guess? I have a log. Well, that is a propeller whacking it, and of course that's how people's boats get damaged. So what I'll do is I'll drag it over here, and it can rot nicely there. Be a nice place for bugs to hang out.